doing his work there. And we have such amazing students that could go anywhere that are...
Here's also the thing. We do a lot of collaborative work between the teacher, faculty, and the art department, in as much as my training is not enough. So the women studies program here hooked me up with a local Abakar. And it was tough. I talked about her work, and she spoke about it, and there was a dialogue there. So I'm thinking that perhaps, I don't know if there are opportunities of that kind of work where you are, but certainly I see a lot of that happening.
Well, it seems that tech with the millennial collection and things like that is very sort of forward-looking, you know. And yeah, well, I won't say anything on my camera.
Can I ask some questions specifically?
Sure.
I loved your border picture, the picture of the Mexican-American border. I was wondering, when you took all of these pictures, right?
Yes.
You were on the border and you spoke with the Border Patrol?
Yes.
Well, I have a very direct question. Did you notice any corruption?
No, I haven't seen corruption directly, but corruption does exist. But that said, it's fairly, at least right now, it's fairly minimal. But there are agents that have talked with me that it's a grave concern that they have.
And what did they tell you? Did they tell you that they feel unsafe because of the corruption, or that they feel that they have been corrupted?
Neither. They are just concerned that there'll be a loss of integrity and all the fallout that would occur because of that.
Do you feel that there is more corruption on the Mexican side or on the American side?
Well, that's a little bit too broad of a question, because it depends on how and for what reason and in what form. So, I mean, one of the major problems right now is to speak maybe outside of just potential for institutional corruption, just things that are problems. Most of the guns that end up in Mexico are coming from the United States.
Oh.
They're getting smuggled south across the border.
So you mean there is smuggling in both directions? There is human trafficking and drug trafficking from Mexico to the United States, and there is gun trafficking from. So there is an equal exchange. Do you think that the economy is equal, so that the imports are equal as the exports?
It's equal. I just know there's a lot of guns going south across the border into Mexico.
So you think that the violence in Mexico is caused by America, and that the drug problem in America is caused by Mexico's imports?
Yeah, that's
a loaded question to ask a visual.
Yeah, and it's not that simple. It's incredibly contingent. Like, one of the reasons why one potential reason that people have talked about for the ramp up in violence in cities like Juarez is that because the border has become tighter, people that are coming with the intention of crossing are repelled. And so then once they're stuck in a place like Juarez, they're susceptible to being recruited by the cartels. And they're like, young people in places like Somalia, where, if they become desperate enough, and they'll pick up a gun. So I think that the thing that I'd probably say as a general answer to your questions is that I think the kind of causality that your questions suggest is very hard to put a finger on. It's just like, it's the same as talking about issues of the Middle East, where you talk about, you say something as simple as, people have been blowing themselves up forever. Well, in fact, they haven't been blowing themselves up forever. Suicide bombing really only became common after the beginning of the Second Intifada, and it was actually a very rare occurrence before that. And so the sort of violence that occurs, ethnic violence that occurs, or violence between the Palestinians and the Jews, takes lots of different forms over time, but it gets painted with a broad brush, and there are these really simplistic, sweeping generalizations made of it, and that sort of reduces it in a way that you can't really then appreciate the amount of contingency that's built into the
So
dynamic.
you feel that the pictures speak better than words, that a picture summarizes the full picture rather than
No,
simplification?
I don't think that at all. I think pictures communicate in one way, and I think words communicate in another.
So what does that picture, for example, communicate to you? What are you trying to say with that picture?
Well, I mean, I think that it's what's the right way to describe it? It's a melancholic picture because it's this very stark space with this one small sort of human comfort, and so it's the tension between the two. It's the tension between the recognition of the significance of the serape and its sort of cultural place, and that there is a human comfort in the cell, but then it's surrounded by this stark interior. I mean, that's really what it does ultimately.
Oh yes. Do you think that it has some kind of a Native American symbolism in the color of the cloth? Did you think about it when you were taking the picture? It wasn't set up. It was that way when you found it. Well, what is this room? What is it a room of?
It's a detention cell.
Oh, it's a detention cell, and there was nobody in that one room, and they let you into all these places. They let you take pictures.
Right.
If I went over there and I wanted to film, would they let me film?
I'm not sure.
Did you have to get permission? Did you?
I had to get a lot of permission.
Okay. Who do you ask for permission to?
The United States Border Patrol.
Okay. So how long did it take you to get?
I've been working on this work for just over 2 years, and my access has grown significantly over time.
So in order to see that, this is drug. That's an actual drug.
Right. That's methamphetamine and marijuana.
Is that cookies? Are those marijuana cookies? Or is that? No.
I'm going to interrupt and speak there for a minute.
Oh no, go ahead. It's all right. Thank you so very much for speaking with me. I really appreciate it.